No, all the like elected people are free.
So we are live, we're streaming at this point.
All right. Everybody good? It is 6:34 and we are ready to reconvene in open session. If you all don't mind standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Under the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, please be seated. Sorry, I thought I saw Miss Valentine.
It was Miss Valentine, I think.
I just saw cupcakes or something, whatever
She
it
had
was.
this big box when she.
All right. Mrs. Kreitzer, can we have a certification to close session?
Dr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Bullen?
Yes.
Mr. Rickman?
Yes.
Ms. Sharon?
Yes.
All right, are there any actions come out of closed session, Dr. Gratz?
Yes, I recommend that the board approve as discussed in closed session student discipline cases 12A through 12J.
All right, is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve student cases 12A through 12J. There is no discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. We are on to adoption of the agenda, and I'd ask that a member amend the agenda to include an action item regarding a potential calendar change. Anybody be willing to do that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt the agenda with one addition. Action item 12B. Related to potential calendar change.
All right, I have a motion to amend the agenda, adding action item 12B, a potential calendar change. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. You got that, Brandy? Oh, it was the school calendar. I don't know who was, we can fight it out. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda that adds action item 12B as in Bravo for a school calendar change, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. We have an agenda. All right, onto the consent agenda. Is there anything that anybody would like to have pulled and voted on separately? All right, with that said, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion we approve consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion is second to approve the consent agenda 6A, B, C, and D. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. The student liaison is not here, so we'll skip 7A. On to public comments. It is our first round of public comment for tonight's meeting. Any Fluvanna County citizen or employee of the public school system is welcome to speak. The expectations are that you address the board, not individual members, that you provide your name and voting district, that you do not exceed 3 minutes, and that you are respectful. The board will not interact with you during public comment, but you are welcome to ask them questions directly following the meeting, and there is a second round of public comment later on in the meeting. There's nobody signed up. Is anybody wishing to speak? All right, we will move on to reports from the superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Pullen. So if you take a look at the report, as always, there's a lot of information in there. I'll just highlight a couple of things. There was a wonderful activity at the high school that a couple of you were able to participate in. I had members of my parent community advisory committee that went over to take a look at it. It was a collaborative activity called the Great Breakfast Election Debate. It was used to teach the electoral process and a host of other things. And it was just a really inspirational activity. I would call your attention to it, and I think it's probably going to become an annual thing. It started in government classes, and then Mr. Reed's marketing class got involved, and it branched off from there. Really a great example of the kinds of hands-on engaging learning activities that we want to make very prevalent in our work. Accountability and accreditation information has come out and it is available. The school quality profile is linked in there. We will probably, in the future, maybe do a report or just an informational report about this in the future, but all of our schools continue to be accredited. We do have some areas to work on, as we've highlighted before, but I just wanted you to be aware that that data that we have been waiting for is out. And we've been going through it.
I thought when we were reviewing some of the data that there was some fairly stark consequence for subgroup differences that would have knocked us down tiers. And did we get those penalties?
So if you click on the school quality profile link, you can see, and they're pretty clear about, you see we're fully accredited, but the rule change that you're speaking of, previously if you received a TSI federal identification, which basically they calculate, so they take a school that is in comprehensive support, they take their highest performing school in comprehensive support, and if any of your subgroups are under what theirs are, you receive a TSI identification. It happens annually every year. I think we've had them at the middle school for the last 2 years for special education. And I think Black English have been some of our subgroups. So we do have those, again, not at the middle school this year at Carysbrook for the area of special education, but because of that rule change, you will see they have like a new, instead of just saying fully accredited, you'll see a column that says distinguished, on track, off track. So our high school and middle school are on track. But Carysbrook, and by way of Carysbrook Central, since they don't have SOLs, they're pretty much whatever Carysbrook is, they do say off track because of that identification, so.
But it doesn't cost us the accreditation per se.
Correct,
Oh,
it's,
that's
it's just a little bit, I guess, different type of transparency reporting around those subgroups.
Is that 12 years in a row that the schools are accredited, 10, something like that?
I think it's more than that. I think it was 11 when I first got here, so it's probably up around 15 or 16.
There were only like 9 divisions who were accredited in that duration back whenever I heard the statistics. So it's pretty remarkable.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. Swartz. That was lovely context.
I did want to point out that we've been recognized in the top 10 fastest growing school divisions in terms of increasing student breakfast participation. So we're feeding more kids than ever, and percentage wise, more kids than most. I think, I want to call your attention. So we have 2 Jefferson District Coaches of the Year. You may have seen that. Football coach Mitchell Pace was recognized as Coach of the Year, and volleyball head coach Christy Harlow Garrett was also recognized. That's really, really great to see. And then there was a joint meeting. The school board and supervisors got together last week to talk about aspects of the fiscal 27 budget. I thought it was a great conversation and one that I hope will pave the way for some good dialogue moving forward. I think we've already reported that our local composite index went up. Did we do that in this meeting? I can't remember. I've been in so many meetings. So let me just formally say our composite index for this biennium did go up slightly, and that will mean a little less in state revenue that will come to the schools because of that. We won't know until we get the governor's proposed budget on the 18th or 19th, and even after that, until we get the state template, what that means exactly, but there will be less state revenue. There'll be less state revenue as a result of the LCI. it remains to be seen what state revenue will look like in terms of the state budget. Just want to throw that out. Do you have any questions for me about the report as it's written? And if not, I'd like to just informally take a moment and respect the wishes of folks who don't want to be put out there in the spotlight, but I do want to just say, Mr. Pullen, this is your last meeting tonight. I really have appreciated working with you from the very beginning, before I was ever hired. I remember a very forthright, authentic conversation that you and I had about teaching and learning in schools and kids, and we've had probably hundreds of those. And you have really stepped up to serve your community, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for that and to recognize your service through your work as a board member and congratulate you on your retirement from the board. We do have a small token there that we would like to give you, and I don't know if other members have comments, but I just wanted to personally thank you and tell you that I've really enjoyed working with you. Thank you.
Imagine us having a very authentic conversation. Good for that.
Absolutely. And then while I'm at that, I would love to maybe invite the chair, and I'll just say a couple of words. Ms. Sheridan, you stepped up and filled a gap at a time when not many people would want to do that, and you've done a wonderful job in a short amount of time dealing with some fast-paced issues. Again, you engaged quickly. I have really appreciated your support, and again, your just responsiveness, your honesty, your forthrightness. You've been a wonderful servant to the schools and your community. And again, I didn't invite others, but I just want to thank you for your time. This is your last board meeting as well.
Thank you, but I'm not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
Be over there.
We're grateful for that.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that.
I'd like to take ownership of it, but Dr. Griff did it all, honestly.
Well,
If you're open to comments, I would like to just say how appreciative I am of how quickly you hopped into the seat, and even knowing that it's a short term, rolling up your sleeves and getting into the nuance. I think I spent tens of hours on it, it feels like, over the last couple of months, dealing with difficult topics and really getting into it. And so that's a remarkable thing for such a short tenure. And I'm not even sure we met before this board meeting, but I really enjoyed working with you.
I learned so much about construction management and asbestos abatement. Yes.
All the things.
I'd like to say my appreciation to both of them. Andrew, he's been here a while, and I'm gonna miss him being on the board, and I'm sure we'll talk again about other things, hunting and stuff like that. And Nikki Sheridan, I appreciate you being here. What a wealth of knowledge you know that I had not tapped into. You would know things that most of us don't know. So appreciate it.
It's been fun.
Same thing, Nick, I'd like to say appreciation to you just jumping right in and, in a short period of time and, taking advantage of the situation short to do the best you could for the school system. And Andrew, I'd like to say thank you for your service to the school board. I remember like yesterday when I got appointed to the school board. I really appreciate that.
It's funny, you mentioned that because the public has a view or sometimes they create their own perception depending on which people it is. And they sell this story when we were, obviously it was a terrible time when you were getting ready to be appointed to the board, and there was all these rumors circulating out there. And I just picked up the phone and called Andre, and we had a good conversation, and that was that. The next call I made was to Charles. I said, Charles, I need you to appoint Andre. That was that. But behind the scenes, everybody thought there was this big nefarious thing. The Republicans are taking over the school board, and I was like, none of that was ever happening. We're much more human, I think, than political for the most part. But
And I was remiss, I didn't mean to, I thought it was a request that people not address your retirement specifically, but I'll note that public service is a really difficult and frequently thankless job, and something that I genuinely believe that you take seriously, and that 8 years is a long time to serve your community and to be a target for public analysis and conversation. And it is a remarkable thing to serve that long and to put yourself up for that. And so I greatly appreciate it.
I'm happy to be, as you all call it, retired. I don't know, retired's the right word.
Put out to pasture.
Well, yeah,
No.
Happy to move on.
I've really enjoyed my time here and have learned so much from everyone, and I really appreciate the fact that I feel like every one of us has looked for common ground where we can find it. And Andrea, I want to thank you for your service too, and also your family, because there's sacrifices to be made for the elected person or the appointed person to participate. And I know that you've done a lot of heavy lifting and representation, but I feel like Sarah has been a support to you on that journey. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, anything else?
That's all I have, unless you all have questions or anything you'd like to go deeper.
VSBA policy, please.
So the policy that we're bringing you is policy KBAR. It was first approved by you in 2016, and this basically establishes the protocol and the regulations around FOIA requests. And one of the things that has come out of the trainings, that especially Ms. Kreitzer does trainings every year, multiple trainings, is that our policy really needed to be updated to reflect, first of all, a common rate structure rather than a rate structure that is contingent upon our best analysis of who's doing the work. We're really supposed to have a flat rate structure, and it needed to be updated. And this one falls in line with the regulations that are established by the Virginia Department of Education. And so that's really the only change that we're bringing to you, is to establish a rate structure. We've struggled in the past. We want information obviously to be accessible to the public, and anything that exists, we want to hand it over, and we typically do at no cost to people. But when there are extensive FOIA requests that take days, take people a lot of time, we just really feel the need to structure this for consistency's sake, and that it not be just a function of my personality or whoever one day takes my place, their personality, and how they might be disposed to this. We wanted the board to establish a structure that we would just use and refer to every time, be very transparent, everybody can see what it is. So
I think it would be good, from my experience, to, I don't know whether, obviously you educate the board members, they have to take the training every January, right, about the new FOIA updates. But the public believes that they have like unrestricted access to your devices because you're a public official. There's a lot of people that believe that, and that's just not true. And I don't think we do a good job of just being direct and saying you do not get access to that. The law does not support that. But there's people that believe that because I just use my cell phone, that they have access to it, and that's just not true. And for whatever, I mean, we tied up a lot of personnel hours with nonsense, and we tried to be polite, and we tried to be professional, but at some point I think you just need to say no. You can't do it. But anyway, I mean, I hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours we tied up in the past couple of years. Brandy's shaking her head. She probably knows exactly how many, but it was a lot. And it was just a lot. I think a lot of it came down to, I think there's also some gray area there. It's one lawyer interpreted things one way, another lawyer interpreted things another way. There's just a lot of there's a lot of space in that FOIA law that I don't think people necessarily understand.
Yeah, it is very intricate and it does change. If you would like to go through the policy, I'm happy to go through it with you. It really is, in terms of the protocol and the regulations and the timelines, they're all just established in the law and they don't change. What we are proposing is a rate structure that you would find on page 4. And you can see it's struck through, the old is struck through, and what we're proposing is underlined.
To Andrew's point, or Mr. Pullen's point, excuse me. There are moments when I think about the FOIA policy, when I think about FOIA in general and its intent, where I feel like maybe this board should be using school issued phones just for that very point, that you do your business on one device and that it's not your personal. Maybe it's something the board should think about in the future, which can help sort of create that wall. I mean, not all texting I do is board business.
I don't think it's a bad idea. There's an expense in it, but
There's 100% expense in it.
I don't think it's, I mean, I legitimately 100% dropped my cell phone in February in my pond. It's still in the bottom of the pond. And people said, oh, likely story. And I'm like, no, legitimately, go find it. You know what I mean? It's there. So yeah, I mean, there's, I just, my wife texted me, did you put wood in the furnace during the school board meeting? Does that mean that's a public?
I think that has marital privilege.
Yeah. But some people don't see it that way. So I think having a cell phone would help, or a school issued cell phone would help a lot. And it would prevent the personal number from being given out to a variety of people online. We get texts and emails from all sorts of lobbyists and different PACs and different elected representatives and stuff, and you wonder how they got your information, and they just get it off the website.
Maybe something for new business in a new year.
Well, I would like to recognize Ms. Kreitzer. She really spends a lot of time making sure that she has a comprehensive understanding of this and does a really, really great job of implementing it to fidelity, and she did a really great job of updating the policy. So thank you.
That's been my experience when I've submitted a request. Also, it's like same day turnaround and pleasant experience.
Yeah, I think I've been remiss historically when I talk about how many hats some of our senior leaders wear. I mean, Ms. Gretzer has a considerable amount of hats as well.
So, Mr. Gretz, these charges and guidelines, is that what's in use now?
No. What we're doing now is essentially using the hourly rate for whoever it is that's doing the work.
You remember our conversation last April or May when a request was made for FOIA to the school board and you sent it to all of us and there was no charge for it?
I don't.
Well, I know, well, that's what you told me and I have it on my phone. But I know previously people had made FOIA requests and they were charged for it.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I don't remember the conversation we had last spring, but we have had times where we don't charge people. We've had times where we do charge people. And that's the whole reason for this.
So it needs to be something consistent.
It needs to be consistent and it's supposed to be a flat rate. I'll just confess, my personality is if we have something, I don't want to charge somebody to get it for them. There's a line between what takes somebody 30 minutes to put their hands on or what takes me 6 seconds to find on my computer versus what somebody in the tech department might spend 6 hours going through emails, and then somebody else has to spend another 3 hours redacting it.
And you can't control what our response to the FOIA request is. So
That's another matter. And where is that line? Where's the line between where it's really appropriate to just say, I'm not going to charge you for this? Is it just up to me? Is it my personality? Is it? We want a policy that establishes this and makes it consistent.
Randy, correct me if I'm wrong, but we, as elected officials, we are responsible for keeping our own records, correct? Yeah, so if we can get a verbal FOIA request, someone can come up here right now and say, Mr. Pullen, I want to see this. And I'm bound to do my best to provide it to them, obviously. It doesn't even have to be in writing. But if they give it to the school, and Brandy says, hey, we got this FOIA request, Mr. Pullen, she's going to invest time in it, but I can completely blow it off, I can facilitate, I can do whatever, but you know, that's all me. And they're still spending man hours trying to figure it out. It's complicated.
So I'm recommending this to you. It's first reading. Do you have any questions or suggestions or you know, however this hits you? Have feedback.
I'd have no trouble adhering to this scale right here. On this implementing page 4.
Thank you.
Right. Anything else?
No, sir.
What about budget update, FY25 and FY26?
You can pull up the bottom one, Dr. Sterling. So we've completed our FY25 year-end audit in collaboration with the county, and during this process, we identified some revenue that had previously been reported as state, that funding that should have been classified as a county contribution. So we've made those changes to FY25, but it has changed our final balance carryover. So that revised carryover number is now $261,987. So the positive news is more funds were used to address identified needs right throughout the school year. So we have, you know, resulting in a smaller amount to return to the county than originally projected. But it does mean that we would need to go back and revise that carryover request to align with this amount. So I don't know about timeline, or if I don't know if you would need to make a motion tonight to do that, or.
Sorry, remind me again how much the revised, how what's the change, how much?
So it's about $181,000 that we would need to back out. So if you click on the FY25 link for carryover request, so that's that is the amount that we submitted. The original total request was $443,506.36, and the new number is $261,987. And I'm happy to.
Can you read that again, that first number?
So the original request was $443,506.36.
Got it.
And then the revised fund balance is $261,987 even. And so it's a difference of $181,519.
181.
519 and 36
Toro
cents.
cart.
So
And one of the
Well-
things, just to give a little more context, one of the reasons we learned this year is because typically the board is not requesting the full amount of turnback in requests. This year, because it was the full amount, we realized that there was a reporting discrepancy between how this was being accounted for. The county and schools had both done it the same way the last couple of years. It was an issue this year because, like I said, they would have matched to the penny. Does that make sense? They wouldn't have in the past.
So what meeting did we approve that carryover request? November? So it would have been
No, it would have been our October meeting because we had to submit it to the county by
Oh,
November
you're right.
1st.
Sorry.
So the October,
Oh, yeah, we had that seminar.
October 8th.
Pass it on the seminar? No, we did
it would have been October 8th, yes.
It was a work session in October.
It would have been, it would have been a work session. So October 8th. So what I would say is, I don't remember can we look back in the minutes and see what the vote was? I would say we do a motion to reconsider.
Randy, I think it was actually in that work session, not the regular October meeting.
Yeah.
There would have been an action item in the work session.
No, it would have been the following meeting. We workshopped it on a screen during the work session
Yeah.
and then took action during the regular meeting as best I recall. while we are doing this, in addition to like having to back out the 180,000 or what have you, we also had a broader conversation around how many students we're expecting over the next 5 to 7 years with the population study. And we had a conversation with the supers about amending our carryover request anyway to include a facility study to figure out how many kids we can put in each building. That cost would be an additional 20 grand, which means we would need to the extent that we want to offer that up as a carryover item, we'll
So
need to displace about 200 grand.
the Board of Supervisors is asking us to pay for that?
It's, ultimately, all of this is their money. If we don't include it in the carryover request, then it would go through normal like budgetary process and be late. If we were to add it to our carryover request, they may have the ability to expedite that so that we can get the data sooner than later. Ultimately, all the money that goes back to the county is their money regardless of all of that, but
And this would be a capacity.
a capacity
For
study,
the
excuse
current
me.
structures.
Okay.
how
Was
to-
that about 20,000, was that right?
It was 26.
Yeah, I think it was 26.
So this is what I think we should do to handle this. We're allowed to do a motion to reconsider.
Mhm.
The 3 people that voted in favor of the action item, approval of the FY '25 carryover request, was Mr. Kelly, Mr. Key, and Mrs. Sheridan. So one of the 3 of those could make a motion to reconsider, and then, which would bring it back to the floor for discussion and a vote. But it would have to be one of you 3 since you voted in favor and the motion carried.
And do we want to workshop do we workshop the future proposal after or before a motion to reconsider? Cause we're
I
gonna
think-
need to do some Excel work.
I think you would need to do a motion to reconsider. I don't think a motion to reconsider needs to be an action item. It can come up at any time.
Mhm.
So I would say, and I'm trying to remember my Robert's Rule of Order, but I would say motion to reconsider this action item.
Mhm.
A second, and then discussion, and then,
And then
Get
workshop
down
it.
to it.
Okay.
am I right?
I think functionally it all works. I just want to make sure I knew which end to
Does that sound
put
right to you,
the
Mike?
workshop on.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm
And
gonna
it's
move,
26 with site visits is the 26,000.
I see. Well, this is gonna be a bit of a math puzzle, so we'll get into it.
That would
how-
have been action item A from the October meeting.
Okay.
14.
14A. So I'm gonna move that we reconsider October's action item 14A, the carryover request. I think that's a full stop.
I'm sorry, it's actually, it's 5.
5A,
5A from the October
October
14th.
14th meeting.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'm gonna move that we reconsider action 5A from the October 14 meeting, which is the carryover request.
Got it. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to reconsider action taken at the October 14th meeting on 5A, approval of the carryover request. And the 2 people making the motion and the second were on the prevailing side of the motion. So now we can have discussion. If you think I'm doing this wrong, let me know, because I don't want to mess it up. I think I'm right.
I think this is
I
as
think we're
close to
following.
right as anyone else could tell right now.
All right, now we're ready for discussion.
Excellent. All right, so we need to find 181,000 off the carryover request, and to the extent that we want to request the capacity study, then an additional 26,000. So I think that one of the low-hanging fruit here is that we had kind of earmarked the like remainder of the carryover money for SRO positions, which it's my understanding that our sheriff has both, one, placed an additional SRO in the building, and 2, that we certainly have some amount of promise of gaining the additional SRO in the new year here. And so that is a larger pot of money that potentially might not have been used for that purpose anyway, and then two, it's sizable. So is there any thoughts as to what that number should be if it remains in this?
I think all possibilities that I brought up were dead ends, is what I'll call it. Not on our end, but on others' end. So I don't think the discussion about SROs and carryover money is, I don't think there's much of a point in discussing it anymore.
So just take that 113 off.
I will note that you had a lot of interesting, provocative, and worthy ideas to chase down though.
Oh, they would have worked. That's 100%. Department of Wildlife Resources said we can make this work. You gotta have participation from everybody.
So, who's driving? Is that Don?
Yes, sir.
Would it make sense, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I
No,
think
no,
you
no.
were, are you in agreement?
I am. I would just maybe suggest to the board when we renew the MOU with the sheriff's office for the SRO, program, that we maybe try to anticipate what might happen again if there's another staffing crisis, because schools are not optional, in my opinion. And that's out as a board member, as a taxpayer, as a parent, just as a citizen. So things happen, but when I called around and emailed around, 10 surrounding localities didn't take anyone out of their schools, and there were still one SRO per, building or campus. And that's just not a priority that was maintained here. So when that comes up, maybe that could be something that could be committed to writing. Like you were, saying earlier, so it's not a function of someone's personality or priorities, and it doesn't change and shift necessarily when administrations shift or when budgets shift or when, there's a high number of resignations or people injured or, what might be. It seems that things that are mandated by the legislature, and who knows, this could be one sooner than later, their standards are maintained minimally, if not higher. And since this wasn't one of those things that was mandated by code, it was presumed to be optional. And I take issue with that position. So I agree with the others about where we are, but I'd like to not be there again.
So I just want to confirm that what was the number that you said earlier about this study? What was that number?
26,000. So if we set that aside for the moment and we were just for the moment to zero out that G4, assuming that it's hooked up to an active cell, even without the facility or capacity study, we are still over by $68,213. So before we can even consider that, we need to remove another 68,000 from this request.
You guys have to go through the requesting.
Yeah, no, I mean that we have to do that now, is to find another 68 above and beyond that. Oh yeah, there it is, negative 68. So the question is, what else in terms of our priorities was at the bottom that we can unfortunately start to take off here in order to zero ourselves out? We have auditorium, I think these were largely in rank order.
Mm-hmm.
So there are $70,000 on the last two lines between Fuel Master and the AV. Are those things that others think should come off in order to start to zero this out?
I think one concern I had is that I think that the Fuel Master upgrade is relevant, pertinent, and necessary to grow, but it's something that the whole county uses. And I don't know how that pie looks as far as upgrade and maintenance, but if the school is the only one contributing, I would, that would give me pause.
I think in a world of needs and wants, I think we ordered this well. If we were to take those two off for the moment, and then the other one, that puts us at about even,
Let me interrupt real quick.
please.
The Fuel Master Live,
So
what's the Connie's contribution to that?
That was kind of what I was
that,
pointing
that
out.
would be all of it. I mean, to be fair, carryover money is their money.
Still their
but
money,
it's-
but
Yeah, but everyone uses it and we maintain it and our staff person is the keeper of the records and the sender of the bills and telling everybody what their portion is. So I don't know that the upgrade, I don't know if it's historically been, I don't think there's been an upgrade in a long time, but I don't know if it's historically been something that comes from our budget alone.
Yeah, and I don't know that either because it has been a long time. But I think from our perspective, that was less the schools asking the county to buy that for the schools and more the schools saying, we really suggest that you use some of this money that we didn't spend to do this for the county.
Or
Because it will
anticipated.
make it better for everybody.
the thing is, the truth is, some people, I don't think as many people use it as you think. Like, I know the schools use it, and maybe the sheriff's office uses it, but a lot of places use the cards. Like, I use the, I can't remember the name of the outfit.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have gas to get gas if you're in Ken's store
Yeah, but
trying to go to Carrie's.
Other places are using the cards too now, the Voyager cards. We're not, I don't know the last time some people even went to the school to get fuel. I wouldn't even know how to get fuel there anymore. So I don't, I mean, is it honestly, is it being used that much by the county? Just the sheriff's office, or is it being used more than?
I really don't know. I think it is
We-
used considerably.
We bill them each month, all the departments, and they all have a charge.
I mean, I can pull the binder and tell you what we had for last month.
Yeah, I think social services uses it for their fleet and,
Social services, sheriff's department, admin, parks, yes, parks and rec uses it. fire
Treasurer.
department uses it, rescue squad uses it.
I mean, sorry, Commissioner of Revenue, I believe they use it too.
Yeah,
so.
he's part of the admin, yeah.
Okay. We save significant money by going to those Voyager cards, like significant.
So we're finding common ground that this is perhaps not the best use of our request.
Alright, so if we were to take those two off, that puts us at about even. And the AV upgrade in the high school, again, I would love to be able to do that, but we need to make this fit. If that were to come off, we're at about the zero line. And so if we were to ask the county and want them to be able to do the capacity study, we still need to find $24,213 from this list to be truncated. And there are a lot of items here. So the replacement of the chassis, Josh isn't here. Oh, please.
I'm sorry, are we under budget?
No,
Oh,
one,
if you wanna add.
I'm sorry, what was the total amount we were estimating for the 26?
26, yeah, sorry. I didn't realize we hadn't added that yet.
no, we have not added. So
So what about the?
the cell is not picking up row one maybe?
Yes.
That's why I was like, wait, we're
On-
positive.
Andre asked about the SSO position.
About the 25 for the SSO, safety.
I think that there was, and I think there was interest in, is it putting one in the middle school?
Yeah, that was because we didn't have that police officer at the time, but
So we're feeling less urgent about that.
Yeah.
So if we did that, that would do it, I'm pretty sure.
Close.
Could we try zeroing out the SSO position for a moment? I mean, I think that leaves us net, yep, 787. Is this feel like either the consensus of the board or consensus of the majority in terms of prioritization? And are you all compelled that asking the county for the capacity study now so that they could act on it is sufficiently urgent to offset, for instance, a middle school SSO?
I think that, given the fact that there was some discussion at the Board of Supervisors meeting that the anticipated number of students coming would be primarily elementary, I think not necessarily all, but like that basically we wanted some assistance from this capacity analysis because it looked like we just have to bump up younger and younger kids to the building with space, which is the high school. And so we were looking for alternative options about utilizing the space we have as it is, which is why the site visits are important with any limitations we might have due to age or materials. And then talking about sort of does pre-K or, ECSE need its own space versus do we just keep dominoing to the building that does still have some capacity, although it doesn't seem to have that much capacity.
It feels like the high school doesn't have quite as much headroom as we would like to think it does.
Yeah, so my concern is just if it gets delayed, that the cost, like everything else, is just going to increase, and the data, that the work they've already done is going to be older when they try to, plug those amounts in.
Was there any discussion about when they vote to support these developments that bring in these children that inevitably go to the public schools, use resources, that when they're debating on site work and stuff like that, road improvements, that maybe they would include the cost of something like this?
And I think that's something that maybe we could have some more capacity to do if we develop the study more. Ms. Soares presented some numbers. The majority of students at the new development were already
Colonnades.
Residents that just moved from another location in the locality, but there was a significant number that were new. So,
A lot of the discussion was around the population study, and I didn't follow up to see, have we sent that population study back to the Board of Supervisors so it's top of inbox? Is that something that your team will do, or is it something that I should do?
No, I absolutely can do it.
Can we include the November performance data in that as well so that they have it in the top of their box?
Yeah.
And so it's really about the 500 to 700 students that we're, I think it's 500 students that we're anticipating getting over the next 5 to 7 years. And where are they gonna go if they're projected to be primarily elementary, just with their limitations? Sorry, Andre, it looked like you were gonna say something.
No, I was the network switches, is that replacing all of them? That's just a situation we can do half of those, or we can do all of those.
This is one of those things where they've reached into life, and when they go, it's gonna be like
it's like not changing your
A
timing
waiting
belt.
time.
water.
You wanna have them on hand when they do go bad. It's preventative maintenance, which is necessary.
Yeah.
I would really like to upgrade the auditorium, that's kind of, we got a nice space.
I would too, and Mr. Gifford's obviously not in the room right now, which is hard because I don't recall if the 100,000 is for one unit and is not kind of dissectable, or if a smaller amount could be a piecemeal solution in order to compromise on the AV upgrade in the auditorium.
I'm gonna see if I can get him.
And I apologize for my own ignorance. It was a couple of months ago that we talked about it, but
Yeah,
I don't remember.
if it's something we can scale, then I feel comfortable maybe doing some of it and being able to do. I've been in the auditorium during plays where I just can't hear the kids.
Yeah, the mics don't work.
The mics do not work. Musicals are so hard to hear because we don't have drop miking for that, and it's tough, and I mean, that's what that space is for.
What's wild is that 10 years after they closed 2 schools that were in Columbia District School was in very good condition. I'm looking for a couple people that remember
They did talk about that quite a bit.
And Cunningham's still being used.
And Cunningham's still being used as a school, but they had to close the schools to save a little bit of money.
Zero amount of money.
And we really didn't save anything, and now we're gonna spend a ton of money. And it just continues the cycle of Fluvanna County, not
But I feel like if we ask some architects and engineers and, people with, good handle on statistics, that maybe that is gonna be helpful in the argument moving forward.
I think we just gotta know, if, let's say we got 200 kids who are coming into to Central, how many of them can we keep right now, and what do we what do we do to house the rest? Is it we use trailers as triage? Is it a trailer number? Assuming that we're comfortable with that, and I came up in some trailer classrooms that were quite uncomfortable. Or is it, do we have, I mean, I can't tell you the number of 8th grade dads of girls who holler at me in the fall and are like, is my kid safe here? Are these 8th graders gonna be commingled with seniors? And then to do that a year earlier is certainly not ideal either. I don't know what the solution is, but I think the more we know about what our options are.
I guess my point was we've talked ourselves in 10 years right back into the
Right back
same
to where we
point we were and didn't make.
And people are on longer bus routes
Oh,
because, yes.
I know some college tours where they have trailers as dorms.
Colleges?
College, yeah,
Oh, for dorms.
and they're nicer than the regular dorms.
I went to St. Mary's College in Southern Maryland, and during COVID and renovation of one of the buildings, they put a cruise ship in the harbor, and the kids lived on it. I swear that's what I heard. If I am wrong or overstating this, I apologize to the Seahawks, but I heard that the kids were living on a boat.
Do we have a solid number now?
The 100,000 for the high school networks, which that's really an all or nothing expense.
all or nothing.
And he believes that's a real need.
I remember I called it a performance by accident, and so
Yeah.
that I found it compelling, because I think he made that argument.
The, so, yeah.
His switch scared me quite a bit, the 20,000 for the hot swappable switch, that we have 3 schools who, if they get another power surge, could fry that Cisco switch. That one feels like if we don't do it, it's gonna blow up, and then we're not gonna have internet
And
for the
that's-
school in a month.
That's the Dominion Triangle that goes out.
Something to consider, we've talked a lot about the support for truancy, absenteeism,
Mm-hmm.
and currently there's support for positions. By the time this goes through, assuming, I don't know what the decision on the other end is gonna be, but by the time that decision is made and we actually approach the market to find these people, that arguably would be February at best. And I don't know how difficult it will be to fill those, but
I don't know how I could vote to cut that number, given what I've seen in recent presentations, is the problem here. Like, I can't both in good faith and look at myself in the mirror after hearing and seeing the absolute amount of chronic absenteeism, and then to say, we need to fit this, I'm just gonna cut one of those. I don't think I'm comfortable doing it.
and I understand that.
It's a good suggestion.
I'm not
just
sure that we'll be
being
able to
honest.
spend it, given the
Yeah, in the
time
timeframe.
left in the year is what
I
I'm
know
saying.
it's hard, but
And I wouldn't have any trouble cutting it at all.
Yeah. I don't have any trouble cutting it because of the time frame and the turnaround
It
to
could maybe
spend
be
it.
scaled.
I find it a high priority. Our numbers are startling, alarming, embarrassing, and tied to how we spend a lot of time on discipline referrals, indirectly.
what if we did one position? So that would be half that value, and then take the $5,000 off of central. So bumping that to 45 or something, wherever that is. I can't see anymore.
Change line 7 to 20.
20,100, so it's one position, acknowledging the difficulty of recruitment and the short turnaround.
Or potentially 2 hourly for 3 months. It depends on what we can get.
Okay.
And then what if we put that at, we can't be at negative,
We are,
how?
because we only took 20,100 away, and we only spent 45,000.
Trust Excel.
No, I do. I feel like we are closer than that. I gotta see what's still there. 100, 200, fuel master, capacity. Oh, right. Shoot. We really do gotta. Man, oh man. Other thoughts?
Where did we end up in the central bathrooms? I know there was some talk about delays, budgets, weekends.
You mean the current ones or these?
Well, yeah, like, we still need this.
These are the classroom
Okay.
bathrooms.
Oh, right,
Those
yeah.
renovations can be done.
This is
Yeah,
like
just
ad
we don't-
hoc, ongoing, and based on them,
So we need that.
we need something to continue to make progress at it.
Yeah.
Some years ago, there was a pseudo gentleman's agreement that we would ask for it and carry over and do it piecemeal.
So is there anything meaningful that the auditorium can do with 20? I mean, I know they would want 45, but is there, or is that an all or nothing kind of number? It's a
He
screen or
says you
something.
can cut the projection screen out of the project and lower it considerably, but he's not sure it's worth doing if you don't do the projection screen.
Right. So, if,
Could you do it over the course of 2 fiscal years?
well, would you need to buy it all at once? I don't,
Could you do this and then in July 1, get the screen? The work's not gonna get done until summer anyways. So, what's the cost of the screen?
I'm not sure.
I would say break it in half. Or start the work in June. The next fiscal year's money is available July 1, and then buy the screen.
So the screen would need to go into the
That
next
makes-
year's budget.
And that makes it right.
Makes it
For the
close, yeah. So the screen then would need to be embedded in next year's
I just
budget.
don't know what the cost of that is.
are there any
You may
other
tell me this.
hourly, like, I don't know, pockets of money to utilize for attendance purposes that are
Oh, that's an interesting question.
vacant or soon to be? And is that allowable, like, for the short term, just for the carryover period?
I don't want to muddy the water, and there's a committee that arrives at these things, and I'm not that committee, so I'm just throwing this out there, but the central bathroom renovations that have been on our CIP, I know there was conversation, what the board asked, they didn't direct us to do it, but they expressed some interest a couple years ago in just doing that piecemeal through carryover.
I felt like it was a near direction. So it was the year that we were at the like lectern and they were up on the stage at the
Yeah.
down in Fork Union. And I think we had a $200,000 wedge in there for the bathrooms, acknowledging what we needed to do. And I do believe that Mr. Goad asked if we could do it piecemeal and kind of bring it back to them year over year. So I did sort of take it as a direction, which is why I remind us every year about that.
I think that's appropriate. I'm just wondering if a project like that, I don't think anybody is sure what the $50,000 is gonna do. Once you mobilize a crew and you've got, the design people and the construction team, and they put a plan together, then you can take bites out of that plan. But I don't know that we have that scope right now.
And if we
And
do,
I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Stribling, because you work with that team. I just think that number has been in the CIP for a long time. But will the $50,000, will that replace the fixtures? Will that go to plumbing issues that we don't even know are there until we get behind the wall? Yeah, I'm just wondering if that wouldn't be
is there a chance the capacity study could change the bathroom plan at all anyway? The findings or recommendations from
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. To me, the use for the reason I thought the capacity study would be good. Well, first of all, before we even knew about the enrollment projections, I told people, I hadn't been here for 5 minutes before people started asking me, when are we gonna get the 8th graders out of the high school? Let's put the 5th graders. And our buildings are configured the way they're configured. I don't know any way to do that. We've looked at this every year. I get those requests every year. And I have said for the past 2 or 3, having a firm come in and do a capacity analysis to tell us what are the options for these buildings, if there are any other options, would be really useful. If some of those options involve different configurations of grade levels, who knows what that might mean for bathrooms? I'm not suggesting we would remove bathrooms, but
Might not be a higher.
fifth grade classrooms don't have bathrooms in them typically, right?
I think Dr. Stribling had something related
Yeah.
to the
I'm
CA.
just gonna go back to the bathroom. At this point, with the current project underway, that 50,000, I do not see, I'd rather see us do a reappropriation of funds with the current project funding, going back to the board of supervisors, because that will give us, along with what Dr. Fred said, we don't have that scope. Right now, I don't think that 50 would be the priority. That's what
If that were the case and we move the 45 over, then we're pretty spot on at $35,000 difference maybe, 25. So if we do that, we could leave the attendance as it was, or we can
Store attendance.
just ask for this number. Any thoughts, anyone?
Well, go ahead.
Ms. Galloway did come here, I guess I would say, in her capacity as an officer of the court, to express the problem that attendance has been for their office in that capacity. So, I mean, it is a priority for me, and it sounds like some of our allied professionals that see it once it rises to a certain level in juvenile court.
So if we were to put that 4,200 back, that puts us at just more or less dead on.
5,000?
We will make every effort to use every penny that the board invests in that line. Now, I don't want anybody to think that I am saying it's not important. I just am not sure how successful we'll be at that point in the year in spending all of that.
I
That
get
was the
it.
point. You put it
I
back in there.
acknowledge the realities. It's
We'll
just
try.
hard not to wanna help when you see numbers like that.
Sure. And now that we have the flexibility, I'd be thrilled.
Dr. Guts, does this list of priorities you think map with our division-wide vision of need?
Yes, the question I guess I would have is if we're rank ordering these, what's our new rank order? Where?
That's a great question.
In specific, where does the enrollment capacity study now go?
I think it needs to rise to the top. As an individual, obviously, all board members will have their own.
I don't know if sir we need a rank, it needs to be on the side, it's a agreement, so I think it probably shouldn't be ranked. It should be something that they approve, right?
I mean, it was
Yeah, it
important
does
enough for
not
us to
have to
redo
be
the whole
ranked.
spreadsheet.
Could we remove column C? And present it as an unranked list?
Just put one for all of them, and say top.
What's that?
Just put one on all of them and see if
Are you
anyone
trying to
notices.
multiple formulas somewhere?
Oh,
I'm
are
just gonna do that. I'm just gonna do that.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Formulas will shift with the deletion of an irrelevant column. But yeah,
Great, thank you.
I think
So-
this looks,
What we need now is, we've had the motion to reconsider, we've had discussion, now we need a vote on, or the motion
you need a new motion for
for
this.
this, yes.
Mr. Chair, if you'll humor me, I would like to make a motion that we approve a revised fiscal year 25-26 carryover request that includes the following items: a Toro cart for maintenance, groundkeeping, athletics, in the amount of $15,000. Oh, color. PSAT, SAT funding in the amount of $10,000. Attendance support for 2 positions at half year for $40,200, and I'll revise that to say $40,000, $40,200 to aid in the attendance department. in a configuration that makes sense to them. Replacement of the Fluvanna High School chassis network switches, $100,000. A backup Cisco 9500 fiber switch, which may be employed at the middle school Carriesbrook or Central as needed, in the amount of $20,000. An enrollment/capacity study in the amount of $26,000 that would include on-site visits. And an upgrade to the Fluvanna County High School Auditorium AV in the amount of $45,000 for a total request of $256,200 out of carryover.
I have a motion to amend the 25-26 fiscal year carryover amount to $256,200. Is there a second? The second
Just
would need,
dying on the table?
Yeah,
the second would need to come from,
one of us.
yes.
Just make sure your last meeting get a chance.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Just so everybody knows, we can vote, even though this is an action item, the board can take action at any time in the meeting. So I think that we've done this completely in accordance with Robert's rules. All right, any more discussion?
The lack of second worried me.
Okay.
If others need changes to this in order for it to pass.
I just think that they were debating on who was gonna make the second.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just the meeting was gonna do a second.
I was like, I can read rooms and that surprised me. Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You know, I would support half of these and half of them I wouldn't, so my vote is no.
The chair votes no. Motion passes 3-2.
Mr. Chair, thank you for that.
If we did that incorrectly, take it up with the guy in January. Can we move on to the FY27 budget preliminary focus?
Absolutely.
And really, that's just an update. So I think you have to go to the agenda. I just put together some information if you're interested. It was helpful for me when they released the new LCI number, just how it gets factored in. So I put together some information. It's under the reports. It says the 26-28 LCI. No, it's under, FY27 in the board agenda, sorry.
Gotcha.
Yep.
There we go.
Put together just some information in terms of how it went up, but just what are the measures that they use to calculate that in terms of they use real property values, adjusted gross income, and taxable retail sales. So I was just kind of looking at what the increases were from the 24-26 to 26-28, and I thought it would be interesting to compare it for state averages because we increased in all areas, but we definitely had the largest jump for adjusted gross income, which outpaced the state average increase. And then but if you look, most localities did see an increase. And then I did update from our October work session on the second page, just that comparison that we were doing for LCI.
Any questions?
I mean, I'm bewildered by a 23% increase in AGI. Is the source of that in individual citizen incomes? Is this literally AGI as all of us contribute to and read off our whatever line of our 1040s? Because that's a ridiculous lift in a way that like almost makes me wonder if there's error in it. 23% on personal income in this county over a 2-year period?
I didn't do that math, it's posted to the VDOE's website, so.
No, I know, I'm just,
Yeah.
when I see numbers that don't make sense to me, that one is up there.
They definitely stick out in comparison.
Y'all get a 23% raise over the last 4 years? It's wild. I
Taxes went up
genuinely don't know how to
10%.
square it.
But taxes went up 10%, 9 point something. Some stuff.
Groceries went up.
25% over the last 4 years, something like that.
I'm sorry, the rate didn't increase.
Oh, we're talking about,
He's talking about equalized tax
Yeah, I'm
rates.
sorry. We didn't raise the rate, we just took more of your money.
Fortunately, we don't set that rate.
Any more questions?
This is really useful though. I'm stunned by it and it's something that I'll probably go back to and wanna explore more, but I won't waste time here with it.
Yeah, and it really is well done. We had a great discussion. You all saw the items that I listed. We talked through salaries, insurance, maintaining positions. If there's any feedback, obviously, we just can't have a lot of really detailed conversations until we see what the state's proposing and what we're working with. But any feedback that you have regarding priorities, either that were on that list or that weren't on that list, just continue to consider those things.
I am continuously horrified, annually horrified, that as we sort of like set up for the budget process, that by the time we deal with insurance and just COLA, that there's not really any room to really think about other priorities, that those dominate 80-90% of our requests for increases, even in years when we request a substantial amount. I feel like, especially, what was it, Danny's first year, I felt like we were like so penned in by the cost of health insurance and just by a 3%, whatever percent raise it was with the state, that just those two things alone set us back a couple million. So every year for budget season is hard, but increasingly it feels harder and harder.
we need a claims analysis.
I think that's an interesting point.
I mean, anyway, that was one of the things that came up at the joint meeting of the board, but it's the result of the nature of our claims in comparison to similar sized or, other comparison localities. And so I'd like to know more about that. I won't be here.
You won't be here, but
I would
that's
still like to know more about that.
sometime I think before you joined, we had Sam in. I don't remember what month that was, where we're asking him questions about sort of our healthcare system, and he had mentioned that our pool of participants in our healthcare system just absolutely use more healthcare. And I don't know if it's that we're unhealthier in X, Y, or Z ways, but I do wonder, not to, everything adds lots of work for Ms. Soares, but I wonder if we can't find someone or an agency to like tell us a little bit more about our trends, or like tell us a little bit more from like a 30,000-foot view about the ways that we do spend on healthcare in our system. And if there are things, we already have our like
Well,
who's well or wellness plan or things like that, but like, are there particular areas of focus where we could do a better job nudging to make our health system, our staff healthier and our like healthcare system healthier?
I brought it up before and everybody thought I was crazy, but you could 100% require them to sign a no nicotine policy, and that would dramatically change it.
that leave us with a hole of teachers or other
It would dramatically change it,
professionals.
I promise
I mean,
you.
Do we have, and I'm not,
Then there would be a ton of people that are angry about that.
yeah, I don't wanna be
You buy
judgy or
in,
paternalistic. I don't even know what proportion of our staff
a lot more than you
smoke.
think. It's not just smoke, anything. But you'd be surprised. And what happens is you make a bad decision for, however long, and everybody has to pay for it. All the people that don't make a decision to use nicotine have to pay for your decision because everybody's paying into the same health insurance. You make that change, you'll drop your health insurance rates dramatically, I promise. I know because we do it.
Do any other taking your, I don't even know how to process or feel about this yet, as I, in my own life have smoked cigars and pipes. Do we know that any other surrounding division or county has that kind of rider on their,
Counties, oh yeah, for sure. Schools, probably not, but counties, absolutely.
I mean, and what's the enforcement mechanism? So somebody gets,
Random testing. Random testing.
that's not gonna go on.
Want to lower your health insurance?
Well,
I would like to think that we have less blunt options.
I mean,
I would just like
we're
to
trying to
know-
lower cancer rates, we're trying to make people healthier, like smoking and nicotine are probably one of the primary causes.
Well, I'd like to just get an idea too of what it is. I mean, is it
Sounds like big government.
pregnancy loss? Is it cancer? Is it,
You just have to
like,
work here, sign a
is there
contract.
something we can focus on?
We have a quarterly claims review that we do. I'm sure there are reports that we could bring the board if you wanted to see some of those things.
You gotta remember,
It's not always characteristic though, remember, it is,
Bleeding.
yeah, it's not cyclical, but it changes. When I came, I think, maybe I'm the factor. When I came, I think we had just had some really good years that enabled the board, right before I came, I think you put a significant chunk into the reserve because claims were really good.
How many people are on health insurance after they leave here on our health insurance into their, into their 60s?
I'm sorry?
How many people, they retire from?
Retirees.
You're still on our health insurance.
Oh.
A lot of those people are developing those ailments.
I knew that.
After they leave here, they're developing a COPD and emphysema.
Well, I certainly hope it's not mesothelioma.
But I'm just saying, if you look at it in totality, all that stuff plays in.
I'm just giving you anecdotal feedback. If we can bring the data that we get, the enrollment, the quarterly reports, but I don't believe that the data we see is necessarily an unhealthy population of people, but in some really, really high claims. For example, it only takes one, certain types of transfusions.
Mhm.
That could be $1 million a quarter. And
I mean,
That-
that is what health insurance
that
is
alone.
for the record. Like,
sure.
I don't wanna discourage people from using insurance. I wanna know what ways we can
Yeah.
help in order to lower collective costs. So the cancer claims, transfusions, that is literally what it's for.
Sure.
It is offsetting risk. But
It only takes 3 or 4 claims like that to really drive up the cost of your program.
I'm sure I drove up 2019 for the county because I had a child that had open heart surgery as an infant, and I think the PICU stay in several hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that was not the primary policy, but still, it was, I'm sure, a big dent in the reserve.
And I do want to make clear, just for anybody that's listening to this, we don't review people's
Yeah.
claims. We have no idea.
Yeah, but I know I had a $500,000
Sure.
hit to not the school, but the county in 2019,
yeah,
unanticipated.
yeah, and my sort of wanting to dive deeper, and of course in an anonymized, aggregated way, is not because we have average increases like everyone else is dealing with in the 10 and 12. It's that I've heard repeatedly that when you look at the absolute or per capita usage or spend or average, that ours is substantially higher than other divisions. And when something's an outlier, I think sometimes you gotta peek underneath and see if there's anything to be done.
All right. Any more discussion? On to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business for the board?
Don't know of any.
All right. Is there any new business?
No.
All right, moving on to action items. We have 2 action items. Approval of the textbook adoption committee for math and literacy. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the textbook adoption committee for math and literacy.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the textbook adoption committee. Excuse me, for math and literacy. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Action item B, a change to the school calendar.
So board members, with the, right now, our school calendar, and if you'd like us to pull it up, we can, but there's next week, Thursday, is a half-day for students. That's December 18th. We are proposing, in order to address the lost assessment time this week, our SOL testing window that you know we have windows that are given to us by the state. If we could turn that half day into a full day, full student day on Thursday, the December 18th, we could complete our SOL testing that day. Friday, the 19th, would continue to be what it is on the calendar, which is a student holiday and a work day for staff. What we're requesting is that you amend the calendar to make the half day a full day. And it's so that we can complete our SOL testing. Is there anything you wanted to add?
If we don't vote for this, what will we do?
So they're probably gonna be, so we're running, assuming everything goes smoothly tomorrow and Friday, our plan is to run exams, SOLs, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But then we need a day for makeups, retests, those kinds of things for SOL. So that's what that Thursday would be. And we would need a full day so that if the student they get as much time as they want it. And so if you really do want to have a full day of school, if we don't have that full day of school, we'll just have to move it to, those students will have to do it when they come back from winter break. And
Is that outside the regulated window?
no, so it would still be within the state window because we've missed snow days, so they allow us to tack it on. It's just, it's a couple of weeks for
Reimposed.
students to go by, right? And then have to come back and either retest or test for the first time, so.
And would that allow us to recoup one of the 4 snow days used in the event that there
No, because a half day wouldn't matter either way, right? Yeah.
doesn't matter?
I didn't feel any further. I just wanted the exposition so that families knew why and what the consequences are if we didn't do this.
If there was a family, because we already had school for that first half of the day, so I mean, I guess if there was a family that was planning to leave that afternoon early and travel, I mean, they could still check their student out and leave early and travel.
But it lifts the burden for those who are scrambling to find something to do with their children in the middle of the day before a holiday. So I could see that going either way, yeah.
Is there a motion?
Could I have your last one? Mr. Chair, I move that we amend the school calendar to change Thursday, the 18th, from a half to a whole day. Sorry, adding 7 was hard there. I'm not sure why.
I'll second.
All right. I have a motion and a second to amend the school calendar to change Thursday, December 18th from a half to a whole day. Any discussion?
Makes perfect sense. They need the extra day, so they're already there at school.
Everybody can kind of mentally check it off, staff and students, if like that's behind us for the break, I think, so.
Any more discussion? All right. All those in favor of amending the school calendar, change Thursday, December 18th from a half day to a whole day, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes no. All right. We are on to our second round of public comments. The expectations are the same as the first. Please address the board, not individual members. Provide your name and voting district. Do not exceed 3 minutes, and please be respectful. Is there anybody wishing to speak? We put the time up on the television.
My name is Ashley Crocker and I live in the Fork Union District. I'd like to thank Ms. Sheridan for her service to the Fork Union District. Her time on the board was short but impactful and it is appreciated. Tonight is also the final meeting for the representative from Columbia. Endings always force a question. What will someone's legacy be? What mark do they leave on a small community that trusted them with its children? When you hold public office, you either build something or you break it. You either help a community function or you make the work harder for everyone else. And when the representative from Columbia actually showed up, which was rare enough to notice, his priorities were obvious. He chose disruption over service and left this division weaker every time he took a seat at that table. He denied that white privilege exists, even as students and families in this county tried to tell them their lived reality. During the pandemic, he insisted on opening schools before it was safe to do so and dismissed masks even when every reputable scientist said they saved lives. Those choices told us exactly what guided him: disregard for others and a stubborn refusal to listen to evidence or expertise. He sent a charter school application to the Department of Education without a vote and then denied what he had done. He acted with the confidence of someone who assumed the public wouldn't catch him. But we did, and he's not sorry he did it, he's sorry he got caught. He never supported a school budget, never supported a teacher raise. He pushed to underfund schools that were already stretched to the max. His budget record says it plainly. He never prioritized strong schools, and the result was deeper neglect for students and staff. He backed book banning and made social media videos mocking concerned parents, calling them hens. And when he was held accountable in this room, he threatened to have citizens removed for the simple act of participating in their own democracy. His conduct exposed the truth. The harder he pushed the performance, the more his insecurity showed, and everyone saw him shrinking behind it. Legacy is the sum of your choices. The representative from Columbia did not leave behind progress, stability, or integrity. He left behind division, mistrust, and a school system forced to work harder to repair the damage he caused. Years from now, when people look back on this chapter, they will not describe a leader. They will describe abject failure and a cautionary tale. As we turn the page, I look forward to working with the new board members who understand that service is a responsibility, not a platform for ego. And I will be here, meeting after meeting, to hold every one of you accountable for the choices you make and the legacy you leave behind. Our students, teachers, and their families deserve nothing less. Thank you so much.
All right. Anybody else wishing to speak? All right, hearing none. Close the second round of public comments. School board member comments. Nikki?
Thank you. Just want to say thanks for having me and waiting me for the last quarter. Learned a lot. Enjoyed getting to know each of you more and working with you. On my way out, I want to say I'm proud of Fluvanna County Public Schools for maintaining accreditation for many years in a row. Go Flu Goes. And I'm proud that we've been recognized for increasing student breakfast participation. That's personal priority for me. I hope that moving forward, the new board members and the ones that will continue on will really tackle the attendance problem ongoing and maybe address the expectation of school safety and future agreements with the sheriff's office. And I am very proud of Mitchell Pace for being coach of the year. I grew up with Mitchell and refer to him as Mitchell Man, and I'm really glad to see that our program is lifting and that Fluco stayed and invested and is responsible for it. That's all.
Mr. Kelly?
I'll note that, excuse me, I enjoyed hearing debates about waffles and pancakes. And all of the programs that I have been seeing in the schools. I am appreciative of the hard work that the staff has done as we work through budgets and carryover requests and meeting with the county. And I think that our last meeting had really good dialogue and shared understanding of the like inherent tensions and demands that our school system has, and so I greatly appreciate that. I'll just like put a little asterisk for Mr. Pullen voted in the affirmative in 2009 for our budget. I do remember that, and I wasn't on yet, but it was a spinning one where no majority could be found, and I believe you cast the affirmative vote that broke that tie.
I wasn't here in 2009.
Oh, what did I add wrong year. It was the year before I came on the board. Math seems to be hard today. But the year before I came on the board, Brenda was on. I think there was 2 or 3 votes on the budget. And I believe that you were able to finally break the circular voting. I also want to thank the chair today for the way that you oversaw the carryover request. There have been a number of budget seasons and actions like that where you probably weren't going to vote in the affirmative, but you made room for us to work through. And I thought that continuously, that did show maturity and leadership in those moments. And so I appreciate those times in which, even though you may not support what is happening on the screen, that you made room for the facilitation, and that is very genuine. And finally, I want to wish all of our staff and students, since it is the last meeting of the year, a safe and peaceful holiday season. And I will be happy to have everyone back in the building. So, thank you.
Mr. Rittenhouse? Yeah, I want to thank all the work that went into the preparation for this thing tonight. I do support the schools and the teachers and the support staff. And I would like to keep them competitive with the surrounding counties. But with the lessening of attendance, less students in the schools, and we keep adding employees, and that's where I think you can make a difference. If we didn't add 60 employees over the last 10 years, we could pay our teachers and staff more. But and along James's lines, it's a little early yet, 2 weeks before Christmas Eve. I do want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Put this guy back on.
Yeah, I'd just like to say once again, thank you to Andrew. Thank you for their service, long or short. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have our kids back in the building, and winter sports have started, winter activities have started, so if you get a chance, please come out and check out some of the kids and their activities.
I'm not going to say anything. Y'all ready to adjourn?
Motion. I move that we adjourn.
Have a motion? I'll second. Motion and second to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Adjourn. Thank you, Lee.
Yep.